And we are following breaking news right now. California high school football has officially been postponed until December of this year or January of next year. The decision coming from the California Interscholastic Federation coming down just after noon Eastern on this Monday. This is something the CIF had been looking at for several weeks now, saying in part earlier with so many different directives from state governing health education agencies, plus schools not really clear what campuses will even open. They were looking at options. So here is the statement from the CIF. The California Interscholastic Federation has determined in collaboration with our 10 sections, the education-based athletics for the 2020-21 school year will begin with a modified season of sports schedule. It goes on to say it is anticipated that most section start dates will commence in December of 2020 or January 2021. All right, so California now added to this list. You can see some of the states right there. D.C., New Mexico, Virginia pushing till 2021. Also, a lot of states announcing delays right now. However, there are still states like Texas, Georgia, Florida. They're deciding what to do. So a lot of in the air when it comes to high school football. All right, let's bring in Zach Poff, Steve Montoya, our Max Preps experts to talk about this. Steve, we'll start with you here. So this is a big move by the state of California. They, of course, cannot be faulted for it, but there's a lot that's going to fall because of this decision. Steve, tell us your reaction to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not shocking, but it is still, it's depressing that you won't be able to drive in California on Friday night and see the Friday night lights lit up, or you won't be able to see any fall sports, as the state announced today that they're pushing back until at least December, probably into January. High school football playoffs would be sometime in April. And now what happens is the 10 sections will come together and lay out their own specific sports calendar. So we'll wait on those that news throughout the day. So in California, there's the state governing body, and then there's 10 separate sections, and what they'll do is lay out details. So the southern section could be playing at a different time compared to, say, the northern section. But what this also does is leaves a lot of question marks about the top recruits and who's going to continue to play, as many of those college kids throughout the country and in California specifically typically enroll to play college football in January. And that's what we're going to be, thinking about over the next few weeks and heading into 2021. Will those top recruits play? And I know Zach will hit on that a little bit more right now.
Yeah, Steve, I mean, I've been talking to a lot of these top recruits over the last month or so because they've been asking me, hey, are we going to play football? And I mean, obviously I didn't have an answer then. And, it's been mixed answers. A lot of kids have said, hey, I plan to graduate after this fall and enroll into college in January. So we're going to miss seeing some 4- and 5-star recruits in California get the opportunity to play high school football. I mean, a couple I talked to, Jalen Davies, a 2021 Oregon commit, said he plans to graduate at the end of December and enroll into Oregon in January. And the same for Victory Vaca out of Westlake High School down in the Los Angeles area. He's a 2021 Texas A&M commit. So those are two kids for sure we're not going to get to see play their senior season of high school. I've also talked to some other kids, Bo Collins at St. John Bosco. He said, he's going to wait and see what the decision is and sit with his family and then decide after that. So we're going to see a lot of 4- and 5-star kids elect to maybe sit out their senior season and enroll into college early. And I fully respect that decision because, I mean, at the end of the day, they need to do what's best for them and their families. And, playing in the spring will put them further back if they elect to go to college. And it'd be impossible to play a spring season and then go to college and play that next fall. So I fully respect what those kids are doing, and it's a tough situation for everybody. But we're going to see this more and more if states elect to move to the spring. We saw it already with 2021 Ohio State commit Trevion Henderson. Virginia got pushed back to the spring. He said he's going to, go to school and just work out and enroll to the Ohio State in January. So I expect a lot of 4- and 5-star recruits to end up doing this and not play their senior season if they play in the spring.
Yeah, a lot of difficult decisions to be made there. Steve, I know I was going through the Max Preps website, and it's really hard right now because we're going literally through every single state, a lot of them making different decisions. So we do have some states that have officially pushed back until 2021, California pretty much joining that. What are some of the other states and the reasoning behind those decisions?
Yeah, like Zach said, Virginia is one state. The District of Columbia has come out and said they're pushing back to 2021, and New Mexico as well. So all of this means that we're going to be having high school football potentially from August all the way into April, which is just, it's crazy to think about that we're here. And kind of building off some of the things that Zach said, we've also heard that high school kids may transfer to other states just so they can play high school football. You know, some kids in California we've seen said that they may move to Utah just so they could play high school football and still enroll in January. So we're just in crazy times, like all of us right now, just waiting and seeing what's going to happen. And a lot of states are holding on hope that they will play football in the fall, but California is definitely the big dog, announcing that they will play in 2021.
Yeah, it is just crazy to think about. One of the other big states we are waiting to find out from is Texas. And Zach, I want to direct this question to you here. I mean, you talked about Friday Night Lights in California. I'm from Texas. You think fall, you think high school football. We're waiting to see about Texas. Do you think they will fall behind California, or are they still determined to try to play this fall?
Speaking to people that have been talking with the UIL, which is going to make that decision, last resort, last thing they want to do is move to the spring. What I expect the UIL to announce either later today or earlier in the week is that they're going to push this season back, kind of like we saw what TAPS did on Friday, and that would put a start date back towards the end of September. But obviously, this is just speculation right now. We'll be on the lookout when the UIL makes that official statement, and we'll be on top of that, let you guys know exactly what's going on. But from what I'm hearing is last resort, the last thing they want to do is move the season to the spring. I expect the UIL to do everything possible to make sure there is football in the fall in the state of Texas, even if that means pushing back the start date, because we've seen some districts already announce they're going to go online classes the first few weeks just to get kids accustomed to that, just in case they need to do that throughout the fall. So I expect maybe, end of September is when we'll hopefully see high school football in Texas. I mean, how crazy would that be if there's no high school football in the state of Texas? I mean, that's crazy. You got death taxes in Texas, high school football.
Look, it's 2020, and I am just used to everything being crazy at this point, so nothing's going to surprise me anymore. Steve, you mentioned that we might see some kids transfer even to other states, not just to other counties or other parts of their state, to other states entirely in order to play football coming up in this fall. So there are states out there that are good to go. What are some of those, Steve?
Yeah, Michigan on July 17th came out and said, hey, we're full go. We're planning to play high school football in the fall. We've seen Pennsylvania as well come out. I mentioned Utah. Kind of the Midwest states are all looking like, hey, we're going to give it a go. And we've also seen some states not yet pull the plug on fall, more delay, like Arizona, Tennessee, states like that have said, hey, we're just going to push the season back. New York, New Jersey, other states come to mind there that instead of like California saying we're going in 2021, we're just going to delay the season, and maybe no state championships in those states, but the kids still get to play in fall, and we all get to see at least some Friday Night Lights around the country.
All right, I want to talk about decisions that some of these other kids can make. We saw Tony Grimes, the #1 cornerback, in the class of 2021. And I mentioned class of 2021. He reclassified to be in the class of 2020. Zach, do you think we could see other players follow his footsteps?
You know what? I don't see that being the most popular decision kids make, because they would have to enroll here in the next couple of weeks at that preferred college that they're going to be going to. The most popular choice I see is, what TreVeyon Henderson did, and that's, just train, get ready, graduate early in December, and then enroll into college in January. I think that's what we're going to see most 4- and 5-star recruits doing. We'll see some, though, that elect to, play the spring season because they want to play that senior season of high school football. It's so special to them. But I think the most popular trend we're going to see is what TreVeyon Henderson did, and that's just not play football the senior season, graduate after the fall, and enroll into that college in January. But it's also, who knows? I mean, what are the chances that college football happens in the fall too? So there's a lot of other things that could factor in making a decision for a lot of these kids too. And I also want to mention also, before we get out of here, Georgia and Florida are meeting later today, too. So those are two other major states that are going to be making decisions. I heard Georgia is just kind of getting together to discuss exactly what the fall outlook will look like, kind of do exactly what Michigan did. And that's, plan to start on time, but have a contingency plan just in case. And then Florida, who knows? I mean, that's a hot spot for COVID cases right now. And a lot of districts are supposed to start practice on July 27th. So it'll be interesting to see if Florida pushes back that start practice date. That'll be at 2 p.m. Pacific time. So, of course, just go to maxpreps.com. We'll be all over that after the Florida governing body meets with all of the districts and the people that matter.
All right, Zach and Steve, thank you. A lot of moving parts here. I do want to mention we've been talking specifically about football in California being pushed back to December or January of next year. It is all high school sports there. And Zach, you mentioned Florida and Georgia are meeting today. We are expecting that decision from Florida high school sports, specifically high school football, coming down at 5 Eastern. We will let you know as soon as we have a decision from that state as well. Zach and Steve, thank you so much for joining us here on HQ.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.